Dude, sick Honda, bro.
Well, it's a fucking Acura, first of all.
Otter. You watching Fairly Odd Parents? What's up, guys? Long time no see. It's been a while. There's been a lot of changes. Some guinea pigs here. I've been working on Fox body a lot. Starting to tune the 2 valve a little bit again. Working on idle settings and stuff. Still don't have that 100%. Maybe you guys can chime in if anybody has a MS3 or a Megasquirt ECU for preferably a 4.6 2 valve. Let me know. Maybe you guys can help me out. But essentially, I'm gonna go over to my parents' house, which is where that car is. I'm gonna mess around with some of the settings on here. See if I can change the idle a little bit. It's idling okay. I'm working with closed loop and open loop, and I asked people for help on different forums. And some people gave me some advice. Somebody told me to turn off the VSS settings to help it go into closed loop, essentially. And I have the EGO settings all turned on, PID setting. I've been messing with PIDs, and that's all an algorithm and stuff. For a lot of you guys that don't know, it just helps with idling. It's a closed loop algorithm in a sense. It's kind of hard to get into. This is Tuner Studio, and issue I was also having before I changed my VSS settings were my ignition table. I was just kind of worried about how around in this range right here where it says 13 and 12, I had it down below 10, and I just figured that was just, I don't know, because I wanted to idle pretty steady at a lower idle, because it was idling up at like almost 1200 RPM, which just didn't sound too good, especially because it's cammed. And I understand with a cammed engine it might need to idle a little higher, but I figured 1200 is pretty high. So I don't know. I adjusted that. I got that to be more in the range of where I want it. My whole ignition table needs to be changed. Like up here in the upper kPa range, like I'm never even going to see 400 kPa, probably not even 300 kPa with the amount of boost I'm running on the engine, which is like, I don't know, 6 pounds max. So I'm never going to see that. So I need to rescale this whole, well, all of my tables actually. I need to rescale that table, my fuel table. I need to just rescale everything, my AFR table. A little frustrating. I feel like I'm chasing my tail sometimes. But essentially the reason why I really wanted to start tuning the car again was the car actually always drove pretty good. I've shown you guys in videos before. But I can never actually get a good cold start, or never just crank the car without having to give it throttle and have it catch, fire right up, and idle. I always had to kind of throttle it a little bit. But now that's actually pretty much fixed for the most part. It will always catch and idle. So I guess that is a win on my part. But after I had to do all those changes, it has affected everything else. So now the idle is not perfect as to where I want it. You know, I've learned a lot, so there's a lot of stupid mistakes I've made that you guys can make fun of. I don't care. But like, I know this isn't perfect either for the AFR table. You generally, I don't know, I guess, I really don't know. I feel like since it's cammed, you want it, whatever it can idle at decent, just let the AFR be within a normal-ish range, like either 13s to 15s, I feel like, because 14.7 is ideal. But this is more of my range of idle. So I just set it at 15, and I'm just going to run with that. But before I started tuning it again, I don't know what I did, but I had all this range pretty much blocked off to a 21 air-fuel ratio on the table. But you would think that's horrible, but the car actually did idle at around like 14.7, but now it's not. Now it's idling really, really rich, like in the 11s, and I just don't want it that rich. I'm going to go over there, start the car up, go to the truck. Ready to go bye-bye? You want to go bye-bye? All right, here we go. sneak peek on what's back on the channel. That's the Civic from the intro, my old car I ended up selling a few years ago to my friend Mike. She's back in my possession. Where are we at? Are we here? Guess while we're here, I can show you what I've been working on with the Fox body really quick. Yeah, I've been working on the Fox body majority of my time. Actually rebuilt the motor, that's all rebuilt. Got to put the intake manifold and stuff on. Valve job, all new brake lines ran. Obviously I think I've showed you guys, it's got the tube front end, cage. Painted the firewall black, that's all done. The undercarriage is all painted black and taken care of. Cars in primer. And I am going to do candy apple green almost. Yeah, that's that, guys. I'm not gonna show you too much because I am gonna do an update video. We're gonna get back to 2-valve. There she is. Set that down nicely. I always unhook my battery because this car sits a lot. Battery terminal, twist connector, thingy mabob. Alright, let's see what she does. So I'm going to get data log from a cold start until it's warmed up. It's warmed up all the way at like 190 degrees. We'll log that whole thing. And then after that's done, I'm probably going to turn off my EGO corrections, which is basically the ECU is controlling making changes so that it can reach a desired AFR. But I'm going to turn those off so that way when I'm making my changes, I'm not sitting there fighting against it. So that is what I'm going to do. But I'm only going to do that once the car is warmed up, so that way it's in closed loop. I was messing around making changes on my laptop, so it's going to show different changes than what's on the actual ECU. So we're going to start with what is actually on the ECU right now. So we're going to use controller settings. Okay. I'm going to turn data logging and start logging. And there's the date. Save. So now it is data logging, and now we are going to go ahead and start the car. Hopefully it starts. So now we're just gonna let it warm up. Idle there whenever it's warmed up, I'd be fine with that. We just gotta, this is a perfect idle in terms of RPM, but once it warms up, it starts to hunt. So if you guys have any ideas, let me know. I'm gonna try a few things. So yeah, but it is still taking a data log. Hopefully, let's see what the temperature's at. Yeah, we are at like 130 something degrees right now, coolant temp. And then the EGO settings don't kick in until around 160. That's what I have it set up at. So I will show you what I mean. It'll probably start hunting once it hits around 160 degrees coolant temp. Hopefully you guys can hear me. And this is the ignition advance right now, sitting at around 16 degrees, which I think that's good. And then that's our RPM, which that if it could sit around there, or even 1,000 would be fine. All right, I rolled the window up so you guys can hear me a little better, hopefully. Now it is closer to 150 degrees, and it is starting to slightly hunt a little bit. See? Yep, there it goes. So I'm not gonna make any changes yet since it is logging, but gonna go to my ignition table. It is I feel like maybe I need to, in the middle, drop it to where it's around 800 RPM. Drop the, drop the timing, and then next to it, raise it so that it sits there and it'll bounce. It'll sit there and bounce it back. I'll do that once it's actually at operating temp. Okay. So here's what I did. See, it's idling at around 1,000. So this is what I ended up doing. It is now at operating temp, obviously. I'm hoping this did it. So what did I do? I have to remind myself. Closed loop, idle target, whatever it's called. So literally all I did, it's hard to focus, but right there where that circle is that says 900. So that's at around, that's the coolant temperature, but the numbers below, so the bottom numbers on this graph are the coolant temperature, the top number is the RPM. I had it set at 850. Now I think what it was doing was it was dipping down so far because it was trying to reach 850, but the cam it's too an aggressive of a cam, so it's not able to actually idle at 800 or 850 RPM. So because of cam overlap, so I adjusted this to 900, and now it can actually reach closer to that target of 900. Granted, it's like, I mean, it's damn near perfect right now, but 1,900 is perfect. So I could probably set that at 950, and it would probably be okay. But that is, I think that did make a change, because it was surging pretty bad. Now it's not really surging. Now my next step is to get this air-fuel ratio a little bit better. Now I've also heard that if you have an aggressive cam, whatever it's idling at, if it likes that AFR, to let it be. So I might just let it be unless you guys got any other ideas. I am a noob with this. It's hunting now again. Hopefully it corrects itself. Yeah, it's a lot better than it was. It was just sitting there hunting the whole time. Now it's okay. Let me give it a little rev. It hangs a little bit, but it drops back down. And then the ignition advance, I'm okay with that. There was a point at which I had it at like 6 degrees, which was I just feel like that is just ridiculous. So for today, I am happy with how it is. We are making progress. So what I need to do is I need to make sure I save this tune. Save it as that. So we're gonna stick with that for now. I think we're good. Now I like to see if it'll crank up and start at warm start. Car off. Turn the key again. Okay, we're gonna start it without giving it throttle. It likes, I have it set to where it idles up pretty high for a second. I need to adjust that, but I'm not too worried about it right now. Didn't have to give it gas, idled up, started. Let's make sure it just drops back down and idles for a second. Give it like 30 seconds. I'm happy with those changes for the day. Again, I want to get that. If I can get that better, I'll be happy, because it is pig rich, and it burns your eyes and stuff, guys. That is progress, if you ask me. I still need to take it for a drive. I haven't really even driven it since I've been doing a lot of this idle tuning. I've literally just been sitting in the driveway, but I need to rescale the KPA, my fueling tables, ignition table, and AFR table. That all just needs to be recalibrated and rescaled. I haven't actually really ever made a video on tuning this car. I'm learning, and maybe you guys can learn a few things with me. If anybody has any knowledge with Megasquirt or tuning one of these cars on a standalone ECU, let me know, because there's not too many of you guys out there that has a standalone ECU on these cars. A lot of Fox bodies ran Megasquirts or micro squirts. There's a lot of knowledge out there for Fox bodies. I just want to get this car running and driving damn near perfect. It doesn't have to be 100% perfect, but damn near. And I think we're getting there. The car is always driven pretty good, even on my whack tune that I went back and looked at. So I don't know. There's Corvette. With that, guys, thanks for watching. There'll be more videos to come. Like I said, I got my Civic back. I got to do a clutch and a bunch of other BS. Fox body content will be a bunch of Fox body content because I need to film that car, and I have done so much to that car and will continue to do so much to that car because that car is the drag car. That's it, guys. I guess I'll show you guys Otter again because he's awesome. I almost forgot. If you guys don't drive your car all the time or hardly ever, it's smart to put a battery cutoff switch so that your battery just doesn't sit there and drain, because that can actually make your battery go bad over time. Show everybody what you can do. Show everybody your cool tricks. Shake. Good boy. Alright, here's the ultimate trick, guys. Otter, sit pretty. Sit pretty. Sit pretty. Otter, sit pretty.